Shalom.
Shalom.
We begin by giving our glory and praises to
Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahshua, Bahashem, Kakadash.
Alright, double honor to our beloved elders and apostles of Great Millstone. Shalom to the hopefully elect. And shalom to all the Akim, pushing this truth with sincerity. Alright, so brothers from the GMS Columbus, Ohio branch, coming back again with another Friday. Today's Sitdown, alright, live through the Spirit. And, do what we always do, man, each and every day. Prophesy the downfall of America, Babylon the Great. Alright. And as you can see, things brewing back up. The Lord's stirring the pot once more. Seemed like things were settling down a little bit, but, you got the situation with Iran, the strikes happening once more. So, again, prophecy just continues to ramp up, Data centers, so on and so forth, still being built. Situation with Trump, Iran, things, still popping off through the Spirit, but of course we know this is all according to biblical prophecy, whether people believe it or not, because, it's a lot of unbelief out there, concerning what's happening in the world. You got, the Christians who claim to be Bible scholars and believers, who denounce, things we speak concerning end-time prophecy, because ultimately they don't want the second coming of the Messiah to really happen. Or they believe in America, they believe in the golden age that Trump promised, and ultimately, they want their heaven now, But, at the end of the day, the Lord's will be done. All right, and us being the prophets, we continue to be active in these days. Shit, we might as well start with Sirach. Is it 38? Be occupied with prophets. Through the Spirit. Start off with that. Keep it off.
I had Jeremiah 28.
Sirach who?
38 1. Oh, is it 38 39 1?
Sirach 39 and 1. But he that giveth his mind to the law of the Most High, and is occupied in the meditation thereof, will seek out the wisdom of all the ancient, and be occupied in prophecies.
Right, he will seek out the wisdom of all the ancient. And again, when you tap into, the prophetical books, all right, that's the wisdom of the ancient. All right, as we are in, these modern times, we're able to, go into these, books that were written, thousands of years ago, and break them down through, through the Spirit, okay? Because why? They're prophetical books, all right? When we read books like Jeremiah, of course it was history tied to it, secular history and things that were happening, all right, in that day, but, things concerning Babylon the Great, so on and so forth, all right? A lot of those things were concerning what's happening today, all right? Because when you deal with Babylon, all right, in certain texts, all right, the way it was, proclaimed to fall, it didn't happen that way in secular history. Babylon the Great America, or Babylon, the ancient Babylonian Empire, at that time, the kingdom, was pretty much translated, to Cyrus the Great. He didn't have to go through a huge war and, have to, it didn't take him too much force, all right, to take down the Babylonians at that time, those Assyrians. All right, so when you hear scriptures concerning the fire, the land being waste, so on and so forth, all right, it's concerning this modern Babylon, which is America. All right, because of course we know that the ancient land of Babylon today, which is Iraq, is still intact. Yep. But like the scripture goes on to read, all right, to be occupied in prophecy. All right, and that's what we do. Us being the watchmen of the nation of Israel, all right, we constantly watch the news, see what's happening, so on and so forth, that we may feed the sheep, all right, and feed those who need to be nourished by the word, and to again give, the elect warning, all right, of the things to come. You got something?
Yeah, just a quick definition of what occupied means. It's a simple Google search. Occupied means that a place, thing, or person is currently in use, busy, or controlled by someone else.
Busy. Can we get that real quick? Must be with my father's business. Real quick, because like Yahweh Shai, how he told his, his parents, that must be about my father's business. Get that real quick, this is, business that we are occupying in prophecy. All right, tapping into, what's written. Okay, going into them in depth. All right, linking the things written in forward time to the things that's happening now. All right, because like the scripture saying in Isaiah 46 chapter in the 10th verse, all right, the Heavenly Father through the Spirit, all right, already planned to end out in the beginning. Okay, everything was already written. What you got?
This is Luke chapter 2. And I'm gonna start at 47. Let's start at 47. And all that heard him were astonished at his understanding and answers. And when they saw him, they were amazed. And his mother said unto him, Son, why hast thou thus dealt with us? Behold, thy father and I have sought thee sorrowing. And he said unto them, How is that ye sought me? Was ye not that I must be about my father's business?
So, again, Yahweh was tasked with what he was allotted in that life. Okay, likewise us, being the prophets of Yahweh Bahashim Yahweh, we understand our lot and what it takes. All right, we must be about our Father's business. And we might as well get that one in Romans. All right, not slothful in business, fervent in spirit.
Can I finish verse 50 real quick? Because a lot of people don't understand the works that we do. They don't understand the behind the scenes. What they see is in front of the camera. They don't understand what's in front of the camera majority of times, let alone what's going on behind the scenes. This is verse 50 out of Luke, the 2nd chapter. It says, and they understood not the saying which he spake unto them. Simple.
Yeah, right. Because people don't understand why we do what we do.
Mm-hmm.
People look at it as crazy. Like, what the fuck? You know what I'm saying? Like, tell little layman, I gotta handle the business with the guys.
Yeah.
Talking about, you know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? They don't understand what we do, man. But that's why it's a peculiar thing, concerning the things we do on a day to day. It's beautiful. All right, it's an in-house thing. It's sacred, it's holy. You know what I'm saying? But again, you tell people about, and not even tell them, but give them bits and pieces. Man, where you gotta be every Friday? Where you gotta be every Sunday? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
They don't understand. But again, that's why John the 17th chapter, Yahweh Shai, he set the standard, he drew the line. We are not of this world. But you got it.
Romans 12 and 11, not slothful in business, fervent in spirit, serving the Lord.
Not slothful in business, fervent in spirit, serving Yahweh Bahashim Yahweh Shai. All right, again, that's why like now it's time to be in, overdrive, man. All right, we're close. We're closer than we ever been. And, Jake is tired. Jake is wore out. Like we were speaking about that, the elder Uriah. Jake is tired, bro. And I felt everything he was saying. You know what I'm saying? Like Jake is through. You know what I'm saying? Ready to get the hell up out of here. Tired of work. Tired of moving around. Just tired as a whole. But we gotta like a race. You know what I'm saying? Or a fight. You're in the 12th round. You don't just get tired and, chase the ropes. Now you got to put your all in. You know what I'm saying? Or when you're in a race, or a marathon rather, all right? When you get to the finish line, you can't slow up. You got to, run even faster. You know what I'm saying? Likewise, the prophets and us in this ministry, we have to continue to be fervent in spirit, all right? And, press towards the mark. You know what I'm saying? Press towards the prize, press towards the reward, press towards the finish line. As we, we are at the closing end of this thing,
That's right.
Yeah. I'm just all thinking about it now, like, bro, this is it, bro. Everything written is really happening, bro. The data centers, the war between the nations, the Lord gathering, like it's really happening.
Yeah.
And we're literally watching all the pieces to the puzzle just interlock with each other. You know what I'm saying? You got on your last few pieces of the puzzle.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah, now. And then it's, the full picture. Now we can really see the full picture.
Yeah.
You start to see the picture. Like, oh, shit, I got the eyeballs almost.
Yeah.
Almost got the eye, there go the nose. Oh, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And, you got all the pieces. Like, oh, shit. There we go.
You see all the pieces.
Now you can see the full picture. And it's literally happening.
That's right.
All right? The gathering of the nations. The MOTB set up. You know what I'm saying? The persecution. That's another thing happening too. I forget, it's some woman that got killed or something. They trying to link it to Iran's hit list. You know what I'm saying? I think it was some Jake or something. But they're trying to, the accuser of our brother, you know what I'm saying? Esau trying to accuse us and link us to, Islamic terrorists and all that shit, leftist groups, groups that speak out against the government and Trump and, the fake Jews over there, so on and so forth, so everything is right there, the combination or, the ingredients to the soup, you know what I'm saying? It's all right there, you know what I'm saying? So it's almost for the meal to be done, you know what I'm saying? Don't speak on it.
No, I just had a point. That was a beautiful, what's the word? Analogy that he used with the puzzle. Because as soon as you say you got the pieces, you go in rhythm, and you at the finish line, so you got the last few pieces. But you got some camps, they got they in the last few pieces too, but they got an incomplete puzzle.
Yeah.
That's why through the spirit of power, Yahweh Shah, the Stone Apostles and the bishops, they say we have 100% truth means we have 100% of all the puzzles, the puzzle pieces. You got some camps, they still can't get down with Revelation 13. Revelation 13:16, when it's clearly in your eyes, man, like the bro said, the data centers are popping up, are sprouting up like fucking dandelions, man. Brothers work at data centers, man. They need people. They still giving me emails.
Oh yeah.
They need people.
Really happening.
It's happening before our eyes, bro. We live 20 minutes away from multiple data centers that are being sprouted up here in northern Columbus.
Yeah.
And Jake's, they still putting the eyeball pieces where the butt cheeks go, man.
Right.
You know what I mean? It just doesn't make sense. And
you try to take the piece and
try to make it,
make it fit. Nah, bro.
Yeah, man.
Again, y'all are not aligned with what's happening, in prophecy at all. All right, yeah, we know about the law already. You know what I'm saying? Like that. I'm not saying it's old news, but it's like, okay, bro. You know what I'm saying? Like the elder apostles are said, where your paddle at? You so worried about the law, where your paddle at? Law, you're supposed to have a paddle, so when you take the number 2, you dig it up and cover it. You know what I'm saying? Like, you guys are, struck on the law, but again, we're in, on a time where it's like prophecy, bro. Where are your videos concerning prophecy? Where is IUIC going into what's happening with Iran? You know what I'm saying? So on and so forth. You know what I'm saying? Why ain't y'all tapping into the MOTB? That's a major prophecy.
Major, man.
Even if you thought it was sin or whatever, you're not on it consistently.
Yeah.
So again, these guys, they put out these videos and curse people on the street and hey sister this and hey brother that. Stop shaving your head, brother. You know what I'm saying, and all that. But again, we should be occupied in prophecy, man. What's going on in the world? True prophets are going to be doing just that. You know what I'm saying? Because what? Real quick, we can look at that Revelation 19:10.
All right. I got it, man. Right after it. This is Revelation chapter 19 and verse 10. Yeah. Revelation 19 verse 10. It says, and I fell at his feet to worship him, and he said unto me, see thou do it not. I am thy fellow servant and of thy brethren that have the testimony of Yahushua. Worship our power, for the testimony of Yahushua is the spirit of prophecy.
Right, the spirit of prophecy, man. That's the spirit we should be coming in. All right, the spirit of prophecy. All right, and those who are in the spirit of prophecy have the testimony of Yahushua. So Yahushua is supping with us, literally, man. He's fellowshipping with us, giving us the breakdowns, you know what I'm saying, the understanding, you know what I'm saying, wisdom and so on and so forth, man, to feed it to the people, to feed the sheep. What are you feeding the sheep? These guys feed us the sheep slop. You know what I'm saying? They don't know what's going on. They still, you know what I'm saying, trying to, build Israelite communities, so on and so forth. All that shit is dead. All right, we're at the tail end of this thing, man. And a lot of these people are not ready. Aren't ready at all. Just like that one IUIC cat came up. You remember a while back? You talking about the name and all that?
Yeah, I remember.
Fat dude.
Yeah, remember. Yeah.
He came out of the IUIC, doctrine and all that, ex-member or whatever.
Yeah.
And it's like, damn, you're not even ready. Y'all still, trying to figure out what the name is.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, y'all ain't ready for what's coming down the pipeline, man.
Yeah, straight up.
And that's why, like the Apostle Sahar said, a lot of them guys want to take the chip. It's gonna be a lot of people who fold at the tail end of this thing, at the last minute. Because again, you're not just gonna, Jacob's show ain't just gonna hit, you gonna be right in the spirit. Nah, bro. You know, you gotta start, you know, tapping into these things now, fortifying your mind now, you know?
Yeah, getting all that so-called leaven out your system.
Yep.
You know, through the spirit, you know, more demons gonna try to fuck with you. But you gotta get all that, try to get as much leaven as possible out now, so when things pop off for real, then you ain't gonna be so startled. But I got a real quick precept.
Yeah, you got it.
This is Romans chapter 13, verse 11. At that knowing the time, that now it is high time to awake out of sleep. For now it is our salvation nearer than we would believe. And we are at the finish line. You know, we got Marshawn Lynch, you know what I mean? But you know, you got a heavy running back, you know what I mean? And he's about to break through the goal line to touchdown, man. We at those times right now. We're at the time where it could be this, it could be, no, it's here, nigga. World War III is here. There's about to be ground troops that's about to push forward in Iran. And like I said, if camps was on their dean, they'll know if they start going to Iran, who's gonna get involved with Iran? We already know the big hitters on that side, man. Then who's gonna get on? Who's gonna stand up? Of course, Babylon, America, but NATO too. And NATO's gonna be double. They're gonna be thinking about it right now. They're thinking about it, man. And Babylon is looking at NATO like they're a bunch of bitches. You know, because America's been in everybody's business. But now when America's about to get fucked up, now NATO kind of want to tuck tail and run. You know, NATO's tired of America. America's tired of NATO. That's how you know Revelation 17 is about to come into play too.
Yeah.
You know? Yup.
You got some more?
Nah, that was it.
I got something real quick. This I got a precept. I also want to read this too because, like the brother saying, like once you feed the flock, you know, these other camps, you know, they feeding. It made me think of these farmers today. You know, they feeding their life, their cows and chickens some bullshit that they ain't supposed to be eating.
Yeah.
You know, And real quick, I just want to read this real quick. Some farmers feed livestock processed food like waste, like candy, bakery waste, and chocolate. This practice typically occurs when traditional food prices spike. And I want to link this to, these different niggas in these camps with wrong doctrine, you know, and teaching Jake about marriage counseling and father-daughter dance, you know, just all kinds of bullshit. Like, that got nothing to do with prophecy, World War III and Iran, and, you know what I'm saying? That is just bullshit. Like, so pretty much the flock is eating food that's not nutritious, and they just starving. You know what I'm saying? It may sound good, it may taste good, it may look good. Oh yeah, we the Hebrews, we the black Hebrew Israelites, we keep the law, all this other bullshit, but it's not doing nothing for you. Them niggas still stuck on Deuteronomy 28, which is beautiful, but I mean, you gotta grow. It's not just the law. You know, what about the Spirit of the Lord? And real quick, that was the problem with what these niggas had with Yahushua in the ancient world, because they were so fixed on the law, and then when Yahushua came in, he talked about the law as well, but he also talked about mercy and judgment and you know, understand, you know, things like that, and it went over their head, you know. But us men of the Lord, you know, through apostles on down, we teaching Jake about what's coming, so you won't be hit with a shot that you can't see. You know what I'm saying? But Lord willing, I'm gonna try to do a video on that on another time, cause you know. But real quick, I was holding this too for a little second, cause like the brother said, you know, we here, you know what I'm saying? We here, we see the prophecies is going crazy right now. We closer than we ever have been, you know what I mean? And we just, each day we getting better in the spirit, like the elder Uriah when he came down. What did he say? He said he visited different brothers. He said every brother's getting better, you know.
Jake looking in the mirror, bro.
Mm-hmm.
That's the spirit. If I can speak on that real quick, that's beautiful. That just goes to show you that, because we all, even in this camp, brothers is like, man, yeah, bro, I gotta change this, I gotta do that, I gotta get back on this. Like Jake is trying to get the leaven out, bro. You know, like I said, man, Jake, I want to be the best version of myself before Yahushua come. You know what I'm saying? Letting certain shit go. You know, and it feel good. Like, you know what I'm saying? Jake is really tapping into the spirit. Hey, preparing himself we're the Lord's bride. So Jake prepared themselves, like, you know what I'm saying, to be presentable to Yahweh Bahashim and Yahweh Shai. You know? But you guys, like,
It's John 4:31. It says, in the meanwhile, his disciples prayed him, saying, Master, eat. But he said unto them, I have meat to eat that you know not of. Also going into, like you said earlier, you know, we about our Father's business. All right. Therefore said the disciples one to another, have any man brought him food, brought him ought to eat? Yahweh Shai said unto him, this is where I really wanted to start. So like it. My meat is to do the will of him that sent me and to finish his work. And that's why you're going to see on our videos, you're going to see nothing but work. We ain't going to be bullshitting. We ain't going to bring our wives on the goddamn camera talking about, oh yeah, say something on to. No, we ain't. We about the Father's business. Because this is about to be the most scariest time that the whole earth is going to experience. You know? So we got to be ready for it. It says, and to finish his work, say not ye, there are yet 4 months, and then cometh harvest. Behold, I say unto you, lift up your eyes and look on the fields, for they are ripe already to harvest. You know what I'm saying? So we here. You got, like I said, you got World War III, you got pestilence, you got brothers waking up all across the world. You know what I'm saying?
secret disciples.
Yep.
It's like, what was that? Was that last Sunday in the Jake?
That was like
What's
2
y'all
Sundays.
GMS? Was it 2 Sundays ago?
Mm-hmm.
Okay,
Yeah,
Yeah.
That's crazy. Hopefully we'll really come back out. You know? But a little bit more says, and he that reapeth receiveth wages and gathereth fruit unto life eternal, in which we about to reap those wages real soon. You know, our work, like we mentioned, we tired. You know what I mean? Jake tired as a month. You know what I'm saying? We worn out, but we about to, you know, it's like the, you know, it's just like at work. You at work, and you know, sometimes when it comes towards the end, it's like that sometimes be the hardest because sometimes it kind of drags a little bit. But then, you know, you see the clock, okay, now I only got like 30 minutes left. All right, whatever, let me hurry to do this, and then you cool. Then you off, then you get your money, you know? It says, and gathereth like fruit unto life eternal, that both he that soweth and he that reapeth may rejoice together. Yeah, I stopped there, but that's pretty much the point.
Yeah, quick one, just laying back. Matthew 9:37. Hey, like you said, Jake is tired, you know, because all hands on deck, but there's a few of them, you know what I mean? Matthew 9:37. Then said he unto his disciples, the harvest truly is plenteous, but the laborers are few. Pray ye therefore the Lord of the harvest that he will send forth laborers into his harvest. So, you know what I mean? We need more hands. You know what I mean? We're not complaining or nothing, but you know, Jake, because you always got that star worker, and they use the shit out of him. They overwork the shit out of him. Because everybody else, they can't get busy like he does.
I was Jake today.
Yeah, he's that's what they call the closer. He's gonna make sure he closes that job order out, or what have you, close the work order out. You can depend on that guy. The other guys that slacking off, they shooting shit, smoking cigarettes, and drinking Mountain Dew. They can't depend on them. That's why the harvest is plenty, but the laborers are few. And we better hope that we are the few. You know.
I got some real quick, just jumping back to you know, like the elder said, you gotta be prepared. You know, but real quick, this is 1 Peter 1:13. It says, wherefore gird up the loins of your mind, be sober and hope to the end for the grace that is to be brought unto you at the revelation of Yahweh Shai Mashiach. Right now, so we gotta gird up the loins of our mind. Alright, and real quick, I just looked up on Google, what does that mean? What does it entail? It reads, it says, gird up the loins of your mind means preparing your thoughts for immediate action. Right? You know what I'm saying? Because again, once this shit pops off, man, you gotta be ready. Like the Elder Yahshua said, man, you're not just, Jacob show ain't gonna hit, and Jake just gonna jump right in the spirit, like, nah. You know what I'm saying? You gotta be ready for immediate action. Alright, so you gotta be prepared, you know, fortifying your mind, getting ready for what's about to happen. Alright, again, and how do you do that? Being occupied in prophecy. We in prophecy so much, we like, man, you know, you get kind of used to it, but you know, we're training and conditioning our minds, but like, all right, damn, today may be the day. Damn, oh, damn, you You know what I'm saying? You know, Jay Brady. You know what I'm saying? You know, and even on small scales, you know, when you know temptation come, but you know, just little pockets of shit. You know, Esau trying to throw at you to, you know, fuck up. You know what I'm saying? To test your integrity. You know what I'm saying? You know, the Lord may throw little things at you to test your integrity. You know what I'm saying? You gonna stand down and you know stand on business on certain things. You know, whatever. All right, but you know those things are you know small things in the grand scheme of you know what Esau's about to come. You know, the hour of temptation, so on and so forth. You know.
Yeah.
But
That's make a real good point. Because I was thinking about something I could read off with the situation in Iran, and every time I think about Iran and the U.S., that conflict, I always think about the draft. You know, because like I said, we got young brothers in the truth that haven't completed selective service, that signed up for selective service. You know, at age 18, you know they can get the phone call and knock on the door.
yeah.
That and brother said our temptation. That's a part of the temptation, because they can give you a bonus, but you got to serve 3.5 years. You might not live the day to see that goddamn money. And guess what? If you're a part of the great millstone through the spirit, you ain't.
You saying no?
You gotta say no, and that's the tempting part, because they might throw your ass in jail,
Yeah.
because you're of age, a fighting age, because every brother in GMS, and don't get it twisted. Esau is watching who's the most in shape.
Oh yeah. You see Jake Instagrams and shit.
Yeah, they clocked him, Jake, man. They like, ah, this brother right here, man. He can carry that 240 up the hill.
Yeah.
Look at him, man.
Yeah.
You know, so they clocking, man. And don't get it twisted. That's the part of the temptation too.
Yeah.
Jake, it's not just taking your job away. Jake loses jobs every day, B.
Yeah.
It's other things that's around that too, man. That you might not even thought of. You know?
Yeah, I can see that now. They hitting Jake. I think about that too. Like, man, I can almost guarantee they'll try to hit me with it. Jake, I ain't got no kids. You know what I'm saying, Jake?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Some type of shape, you know, strong, got knowledge. You know what I'm saying? And,
Yeah.
certain shit. You know what I'm saying? You know, they want a young single male in his, you know, 20s. You know what I'm saying? That,
Nothing to lose,
yeah.
nothing to live for, so to speak.
Yeah. You know? But continuing on, it says, gird up the ones of your mind means preparing your thoughts for immediate action, staying mentally alert, and clearing away distractions. Originating from 1 Peter 1:13, it uses an ancient metaphor. Travelers or runners would tie up their long flowing robes to prevent tripping. Going down, it's a modern meaning and application. Translating the metaphor to your mind suggests taking control of your thoughts, it implies. Bullet point, it says focus, clearing away mental clutter, worry, aimless wander, readiness, preparing to handle upcoming challenges, temptation, like brother just went into, or hard work. See? So we gotta gird up the ones of our mind, be ready for these things, man. You know, and how do you do that? Again, by being occupied in prophecy, man. Making sure you know what the fuck's going on, man. Like we was going into a lot of these camps, feeding their sheep slop. Feeding them, you know, like you said, candy and, you know what I'm saying, you know, GMOs and, you know, all the good sweet shit that's fattening them up, keeping them docile, you know, not feeding them nothing nourishing, or healthy, you know, and that's a spirit too, because when you think about, you know, your diet and stuff, when you eat bullshit, what is it called? Brain fog. You know what I'm saying? Shit like that. Tiredness, you know, slothfulness, tired and shit, you know.
Start developing titties and shit.
Yeah, not because, you know, you've been working hard, but just because you've been eating fucked up, you know? So, you know, likewise in the ministry, man, a lot of these people are, you know, these pastors are feeding their sheep or their flock, you know, bullshit. And what? Until they got a whole bunch of brain fog, worried about the wrong shit. They said marriage counseling, IRLs. You know what I'm saying? You know, just not, you know, living a nutritious life. You know what I'm saying? Where you're mentally clear, you're alert. You know what I'm saying? And we all speaking metaphorically through the spirit. You know.
And through the spirit, bro. I mean, I just speak as a man. Like, once you kind of like veer off of prophecy, you start talking about some other bullshit. Then that's kind of when your spirit kind of like fades away with it.
Yeah.
Because like you said, Revelation 19:10. Like once you start getting into being a busybody, he say, she say, and then you get your mind veered off of prophecy, then I'm like, nigga, ain't that your title?
Yeah.
aren't you a prophet? You know, a seer?
Right.
And then like, all right, man, well, I can't deal with you because we're not talking about the same thing. I want you to talk about this. You know, I'm just thinking.
Yeah. No, that's beautiful because likewise the deacon in Hakab.
Oh
It's
yeah,
like,
yeah.
they veer off prophecy. You know what I'm saying? Word, the whole, basis of what they believe in is the Gentiles. Huh? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
But you
yeah.
forgot the key component, prophecy.
Gotcha.
And like you said, they what happened? They faded away.
That's the binder. That's the binder to staying in the spirit.
Yeah, real talk. Prophecy. Beautiful point. Yeah. Kind of. And like you said, once your doctrine becomes based off the Gentile salvation and all that shit, now you start again to fade away. Now,
Yeah.
where they at? Where the G-Wagon at?
J&G.
You know what I'm saying?
It's real talk, man. Because like I said, man, brothers go through hell. And if it was up to us listening to IUIC, man, and we all took their advice of Revelation 13 and sin, we all be dead anyway, first and foremost.
Right.
Because we all took it if it was sin. Hell, I took
Right.
I took the new MARK a trillion times already, so to speak.
Right.
We all have.
We through.
We through. Listening to that part,
Yeah.
So wrong.
I mean, we
It's
all
a
go
slop.
to the lake of fire.
Yeah, we all going back down there, man. That's why you can't listen to everything, man. Everything just because you look all fly, they got the fly garments, got the houses, the cars, the shorties, and the so-called fame. That's not all good money, man. You know?
But bullet point 2 again, this is readiness, preparing to handle upcoming challenges, temptations, or hard work. Discipline, exercising self-control and adopting a sober, vigilant mindset, right? Being stoic, being zoned in, locked in, as they say, man. And like you said, it's a high time to wake out of sleep. When you're awake out of sleep, boy, you're locked in. You're not slothful, you zoned in on, what you have to be zoned in, your task, man. All right, and like you said, our task is to be prophets, to be occupied in prophecy, and make sure we know what's going on, and feed those who follow us in like manner, so that they're on point, they're moving with wisdom. Like the scripture say, wisdom shall meet you in every thought. Like today, man, I was pissed off, man. I wanted to, take the margin trial to a motherfucker, man. But Jay, I can, calm down, stay in the spirit. You know what I'm saying? Just get through the day. We liable to crash out, more than anybody. You know what I'm saying? Motherfuckers on video crying and huffing and puffing and shit. You know what I'm saying? Because, the day went bad. But here it is, we, go through that and some mentally. You know what I'm saying? Fighting against the world every day, man. But, check out something.
Yeah, so real quick, it's Mark 13 and 35, going into that sleeping. It says, watch ye therefore, for you know not when the master of the house cometh, at evening or at midnight, or at the cock crowing, or in the morning, least coming suddenly, he finds you sleeping. And again, I always use this little with a similitude, I guess you could say. I remember I used to work at this little summer job and shit, me and my sister, and I was like in my teens, you know what I'm saying? And we was working at this little preschool joint, and then at the end of the day, somebody had to be at the stairs because it was like a church, but it was like a preschool joint. But somebody had to wait at the stairs, so when the parents come, somebody could hear the door. Cause we was like, sometimes we'd be like all the way in the back, you can't hear shit, basement, whatever. So somebody got to be there. So I'm sitting there at the stairs, so that when I see the parents coming, I can get up and meet the person. Same thing with the Lord, because that's a parable the Lord used. He said when the master's gone, and then the watchman, he got to watch for his master. So when the master comes, he can open the door for him. Same thing, when you have a shot. These niggas are sleeping. So when the Yahushua comes, he's not gonna be welcomed.
Yeah, like when T.I. was trying to get in this gated community, the security guard was asleep.
Smack.
You know what I'm saying?
Oh,
Smack.
yeah.
Them niggas at the booth sleep. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Snoring and shit. He got a bald head. You know what I'm saying? That thick pig snore too. You know what I'm talking about? mustache, he sleep. You know what I'm saying? Snoring loud as a million, he got sleep apnea. You know what I'm saying? You know? Niggas got stay. And that's a video.
I got a quick one.
You got, Israelites with sleep apnea. You know what I'm saying? So,
So it's like I got
Oh, yeah, after you.
one more verse says like what I say unto you, I say unto you all, watch. So that shows you the Lord, he repeated watch multiple times in this chapter. He said it again and again. So that shows you the importance of it. We got watch, and again, how do you watch? You watch and pray by looking at the news, watching yourself, making sure you're on point, watching the flock, watching for the wiles of the devil. It's a lot of things we gotta be circumspect to, and a lot of things we gotta be aware of. We can't just be, docile and just whatever. We gotta look out for shit, That was it.
Quick one, just laying back what you said. When you said your similitude jump off. This is Revelation 3:20. It says, "Behold, I stand at the door and knock. If any man hear my voice and open the door, I will come into him and will sup with him, and he with me." So, like you said, so you constantly waiting for what's the next move, and of course Yahweh Shah is this receiving that word, but this is also receiving these prophecies too.
right, that's part of the word.
Yeah, yeah. Because you constantly looking out the window. You might play a video game, you might chill with a shorty, drink some yayan or what have you. But you still look at your phone, some bullshit, Instagram. But you still flip something over and see like the YouTube. When somebody like GMS puts a video out, you see like a headline.
Yeah.
You constantly, oh shit, what you talking about? See a couple minutes of it, and like, damn. Now you look at it a little bit, So that's constantly looking at it. It's staying engaged, man. It says, because you don't want somebody to knock on the door, and you in the shower and shit. You gotta say 1 minute, man, might roll out, man. You mean he wasn't on your watch? It says, verse 21, "To him that overcometh will I grant to sit with me in my throne, even as I also overcame and am set down with my Father is in his throne." And that's pretty much the point. 20. So you gotta be ready for when you have a shot knock on the door. You gotta make sure that motherfucker's open before you knock on the door, so to speak.
Real quick, I looked up being engaged meaning at work. It says being engaged refers to a positive, fulfilling state of mind at work characterized by vigor, dedication, and deep immersion in your task. It goes beyond simple job satisfaction, meaning you genuinely care about your role, are intrinsically motivated, and are willing to exert extra effort. Right, so you see, you gotta be engaged, man. You gotta, like I said, meaning you genuinely care about your role. You know what I'm saying? That's beautiful. It said, like I said, and are willing to exert extra effort. Beautiful, like, for instance, the Elder Uriah came in, you know what I'm saying? From Chicago. They got to, lose sleep and deal. You know what I'm saying?
He came from DC.
Even him, he was, what they said, 50 hours of, driving.
2.5 weeks of just on the road, man, driving.
Hey, that's like I said, and are willing to exert extra effort. You know what I'm saying? But hey, that's what it takes, man, in this ministry. You gotta be engaged, man, and put in that extra effort, man, that extra credit. Even for us, man, we have to stay up and, deal. You know what I'm saying? They tired, they gotta be up a few hours, you know what I'm saying, from work. Shit, even now, bro, I'll be up 3 in the morning.
Yeah, but
I'm looking at my time like, damn, I only got 6 hours and 19 minutes, so I gotta get back up. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But hey, the work gotta be done.
That's
You know
right.
what I'm saying? It says in organizational psychology, work engagement is defined by 3 primary pillars: vigor, high levels of energy, mental resilience, and persistence while working, dedication, a strong sense of significance, enthusiasm, inspiration, and pride in your job. Absorption, being completely focused and deeply engrossed in your work, often to the point where time flies. Right, man. So damn, that's beautiful, man. And like the scripture speak, we're pretty much employees Yahweh Hashem Yahshua, like he said about the Lord's business. So there it is, the Lord, you know, is the owner of the company. You know, we're his employees, man. We work for him. You know, so we have to be engaged in our job, you know, our craft, which is to be, you know, prophesy. You know, and how does, and again, tying it all in, how do you do that? You gotta be occupied in prophecy, man. You know. But should I know, we're talking about how long we out with, like 40 something?
Started around 2000.
I think we were around, getting around 39, 40.
Jay got any clothes?
Oh yeah,
Clothes
40.
up?
Yeah.
You got something on?
Yeah, I mean, I wanna. Nah, I'm good.
Okay, cool. Good, cool.
Yeah, I'm good.
Alright, kind of well. With that goes well, this is edifying and exhorting to whoever may receive it. We'll give all glory and praises to.
Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Kakadash.
Alright, double honor to our beloved elders and apostles of great millstone. Shalom to those elect. Shalom to all the Akim pushing the truth. Sincerely gonna say shalom. I'm gonna show up.
Shalom, Kwame Yashwala. Baba Bo.